Hi, my name is Bridget Richardson, and I'm the Assistant Director of Ecumenical and Pastoral Initiatives with the Nesti Center for Faith and Culture at University of St. Thomas in Houston. And I'm here with Francisco Bernal. He is he's a sub-coordinator of a core team called Pascon with the Office of Young Adults and Campus Ministry for the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston. And I'm here with Gabriela Karaszewski, and she is the Director of the Office of Young Adults and Campus Ministry for the Archdiocese. So welcome, both of you. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Bridget.
Us. Yeah, so I want to just get the conversation going about young adults and how COVID-19 is affecting that community. And your office is doing an incredible amount of work to continue to reach out to young adults to make things accessible for them. So Gabriela, could you just give us maybe an overview of what your office has done and how you've had to adapt now that coronavirus has set in?
I just have to tell you that we're not doing an outstanding job. There is so much more we could and we should be doing. We really just done the minimum with what we have in the crisis moment. So I'll just share a couple stories. The first one is we throw a yearly conference for young adults every year that's called the Archdiocese Young Adult Day. So I really think it was God's plan that our day was March 21st, which is exactly the week in which basically Houston started to shut down. And I think it was God's plan because what happened is there were going to be 350 young adults attending that day in person. And 2 days before March 21st, we, of course, the major said everything shuts down, so we couldn't have the conference. And we jumped and did it online. Thanks to the collaboration of all the presenters who agreed to do it online and all the young adults who helped me be there throughout the day of the team of young adults. That we had a team of 30 young adults. So they were there supporting the other young adults during the day. But all of a sudden the conference went from being in person to being online within 2 days. The presenters being willing to use the technology that many of them had not used. And not only that, but we had 650 young adults register instead of 350. And that's why I think it was God's plan, because more people took advantage of it from home than if they had to drive there. Number one. Number two, we didn't only serve our Houston young adults, only 75% of them were from Texas. So 3% were from around the world and the rest were from around the United States. So to me, that was like, wow, God didn't want to just reach with the speakers and with the program that we have prepared for that day, only the local young adults, but God also wanted to reach others. There was one from Uganda, some from Costa Rica, some from Jamaica and Spain, as far as I know, and Michigan and so on. So that was such an eye-opener for me, and it was a really touching moment for the young adults in the team because they worked so hard for 6 months to put in this event. Francisco was one of them. We had food, we had music, we had a band coming from Chicago, we had speakers flying from New York, speakers flying from California, Connecticut. It was just a 6-month preparation that couldn't take place in person, but we were able to transform it thanks to Bill Gates and technology. I've been thanking Bill Gates so much lately. Thanks to technology, Google, and so on, we were able to transform the gospel and evangelize others, just like probably God has been wanting to do this way. We were just not letting ourselves do it. And here we are doing it and giving double fruits. Right. So thanks to that experience, a lot of Hispanic young adults were able to log in and learn how this thing works. They didn't know webinars before, they didn't know go to meetings before, and only them, a lot of English speakers too. So with this 7-hour program, they were able to see, oh, this is how it works. You come in, you come out, you listen, you pause, the whole scoop, you chat, you play games, you can sing songs, you can pray together, which is a really good experience for people, praying together through a computer is like, if you've never done it before, it is really weird.
Right.
God designed I mean, if the day was to happen in April 15, it would be a little bit too late. Like people already know that. But it was like the trampoline. It was like the, jumping board to what was going to come next. So it opened the doors to let our imagination fly in my office. I mean, from there, my coworker Angie said, well, now that we don't have a retreat coming up in 4 weeks, I guess it's going to be online, right, Gabriela? And I go, yes, it's going to be online. Let's see how that's going to look. And then Mirna, my other coworker, is like, Mirna, you have a class in person that's not going to take place 8 Sundays in a row by any means. It's like you have to make it shorter, you can make it sweeter, you have to make it cheaper, and that way we offer it online, The young adult day was for free. Nowadays, people are starting to charge for events and programs because, I mean, it costs the time of putting together. Nothing can go forever for free. Obviously, masses are for free. So we're starting to charge $15, things like that, to be part of an 8-hour retreat because it involves a lot of work. So that's from my end. And so from there, the last thing I can say we've been doing is we launched the nightly prayers with young adults. And that came about because I was part of 2 nightly prayers with young adults in New York City on that week of the end of March. And I was like, wow, this is so powerful. To see 150 young adults praying together the rosary, that's a powerful thing. Right. So I said, let's bring it to Houston. Let's have a prayer every night. Let's do it in English some nights, Spanish other nights, because we're a bilingual archdiocese. I mean, we're a trilingual archdiocese. Right. It's just sad to see some of our fellow young adults who are Vietnamese that they don't want to speak Vietnamese, they want to speak English. It's not the case with the adults, but with young adults, but some of our Hispanic young adults only speak Spanish. So others are bilingual. So we brought in this bilingual prayer every night. We're doing the best we can. And it's doing wonderful. We have 230 people registered for it. About 30 young adults show up every night. Some of them change, some of them are the same. But all we do is for 15 minutes, 15 minutes, we pray. We pray Lectio Divina, or we sing, or we pray the Divine Mercy, or we read the Gospel. It's just a way to accompany, because that's what Pope Francis wants us to do, is to accompany young adults. So we're accompanying through prayer. And we keep doing this until we're quarantined at home. So we have a whole month to go.
Yeah. And Francisco, what has it been like for you to be a part of that quick changeover in just 2 days, but then also to engage young adults and help them connect through digital means?
Yeah, it's definitely been tough, especially because, like Gabriela said, in the Hispanic community, we're not used to these go-to meetings. We're not used to using social media as much as we're doing right now. So it's definitely been tough, especially because a lot of them, like Gabriela was saying, they don't speak Spanish. So a lot of them don't really know about technology. So it's been a little tough trying to make them connect to these meetings. But at the same time, it's kind of like a good thing because we've had these resources for a very long time, but we just haven't been using them. So it's definitely a good way to start using them and really try to reach out to more young adults in I don't know how to say this in English, but maybe Gabriela can help me. In Las Periferias, reach out to the peripheries, I think it's called. So yeah, it's been, I would say, a roller coaster for me, because I started off really strong, especially with the Archdiocese day. But I think it was the week after this whole COVID thing impacted Houston, that I was feeling really overwhelmed, just because it's, you think about all these events that are coming up, you think about the young adults that meet every week. And it's a little sad because it's, a big part of working in community is being in person and sharing certain events. But the fact that that was taken away, that kind of impacted me. And I was like, whoa, this kind of hurts. But then at the same time, it's like we must remember that Jesus is there. And we have to trust him a lot more right now, and especially in these times. So the way that I'm, I guess, accompanying these young adults is just kind of reminding them that Jesus is there. Even in these times of crisis, Jesus is there. Because sometimes I guess we get a little overwhelmed with whatever is happening. I lost my job, or I'm not going to school. I'm not able to meet with these other young adults. But it's like we have to remember that Jesus is there, because we forget sometimes, especially in moments of crisis. So it's just, I guess, reminding them that Jesus is there.
Right. And how do both of y'all see this uniquely affecting the young adult community? Because Francisco, you mentioned how that weekly young adult meeting that so many people are used to going to is taken away. And even a digital meeting, we all have that longing for a relationship and connection. How do you see this whole thing affecting young adults in that way, uniquely than some other communities?
I guess just kind of talking to them. I've been talking to a few of the leaders, and they said that it is working for them, but a lot of them don't feel the need of connecting because they feel like it's not enough for them. So it's definitely tough. I mean, if we see it as tough, I could just imagine those young adult leaders that are barely starting, in their faith, or they're barely starting with these accompanying other young adults. So yeah, it's been tough. I don't know if Gabriela has other comments.
I think it's a whole other new reality that is gonna take a while for people to accept. It's the new reality for April. We don't know if our major will go to May, but it's the only way we can see each other right now. Some people are rejecting this reality. Like Francisco said, I visited some young adult groups through Zoom, and I see not all of them are there. I mean, some of them, let's talk about some realities. Many of them, I asked them, raise your hand if you're still working. Everyone, I mean, they're raising their hand. A few lost their job, but the majority are working hard. So it's not like, oh yeah, let me come back from a 12-hour day and try to figure out my computer world. Right. It's a very different reality for some of them, not all of them. Now you turn the coin and you start speaking about other young adult groups in the English world, and there are actually a lot of the young adults are feeling very lonely in their home. They don't leave home for work, not all of them. Many of them are students from universities, and they're like, some of them are like, yeah, I'm anxious to go and meet with my young adult group. I really want to see them. And others like, I was all day long at home with classes through internet. I don't want one more thing on Zoom. Right. So I think I don't think there is a box right now. Everyone is taking it differently. Some people are jumping in because they love it. Other people are rejecting it because it's too much Zoom meetings. Other people, and we've even talking about, I've been having some national meetings on how right now young adults are overloaded with resources, like through their WhatsApp, through their Facebook, through their whatever, through the email. Here is another resource. Here's another prayer. Here's another meeting you can go to. There's another conference that you can take part of. And it was like, oh my goodness. So it's also our job as leaders to help them figure out what is the most important thing in Holy Week. Is it really to go at 6 p.m. for this concert online, and then at 7 p.m. to your group, at 8 p.m. this other thing? Or is it just choose one and we think this is the best for you? I think we won't know, Bridget, until a month from now, how are we continue navigating this? Everyone is everywhere. I found some young adults who already lost their job. And if they didn't lose their job, some of their family members lost their job. So they're living in their home and surviving from the money the young adult brings home. Wow. So their parents lost their job. So now the young adult feels the responsibility. I need to work. I need to study. I need to get the ship. I need to move the ship, the boat. So I think bottom line, if you were to ask me, how are young adults doing before coronavirus? Young adults' lives is full of transitions. They were already burdened with financial stuff. They're already feeling like, I'm single, I'm not married yet, what's happening in my life? They feel like, okay, do I fit in my parish or I don't fit in my parish? there's so many things that we're going through, right? If you add coronavirus, it is overwhelming. Right. And we've been talking that nationwide. How can we help our young adults, not only spiritually right now, but emotionally and economically? Right. Because if those components were heavy there before coronavirus, right now after coronavirus, we see more need. A lot of them are getting depressed. Some of my campus ministers have told us how some of them are committing suicide. I mean, we're getting into these heavy topics on young adult ministry that we really need to tend to. That's why when you told me, oh, you're doing so much. No, we're not. We need to get more things done for young adults. They need us the most right now. Now, let's look at the positive side. Who has been helping the parishes transmit their things online? Young adults. Young adults have been the camera people. They've been helping pastors with YouTube channels. They've been helping the parish council to get their event on Facebook. Right. Young adults have been the protagonists of today's church in the United States. Mm-hmm. So yes, there's some that are helping with the gifts of a young adult has, and others that are really feeling down and we need to help them out. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of everything.
And that makes sense, because even when you say young adults, it encompasses so many different people in different places in their lives with different, understandings of culture and the world around them, that you really have this huge melting pot of people that you have to work with. And I guess my final question to both of you, and Gabriela, you can start, is you're having those conversations about how you reach them spiritually, how you connect with them during this time. And I love that you talked about the young adults who are stepping up and being the people who set things up for their parishes. How can you maybe even inspire some young adults to do more of that? If they're feeling lonely or feeling cut out, how can you inspire them to seek out that connection in some way? Because I can understand the digital burnout thought behind it, because it is a lot to be online all day. So how would you inspire them to seek ways to connect, but also have that deep spirituality that comes from the peace of Christ?
I have a couple of answers, but I'm gonna let Francisco talk too. So I think we need to quiet down our hearts and our minds. And so for those who are not staying home, for those who are essential and need to go out and keep working, they need to use this time to also quiet down their minds and hearts. And for all of those who are not essential, who have to stay home, it's a little bit of a joke there. Essentially, we're the non-essentials. We also need to quiet down our minds and hearts. And I personally haven't achieved that because I have 2 children and husband and work and ministry and brothers and sisters that also are getting sick. So it's a lot of things going on. But I think your question was, how can young adults enrich themselves spiritually, is by silence. Cardinal Dinaro has always said it. Young adults need silence in their life. So we're offering retreats left and right, and I think that's something we should take advantage of. I'm looking forward to my retreat on the Triduum. I'm going to take a retreat for 3 days. I'm not going to disappear from my house, but just 1 hour a day, I'm going to take part of this retreat. So I think Francisco can share, but we were brainstorming a couple of days ago, how can we help young adults right now? And someone said, retreats. We need to read the scriptures. We need to hear testimonies of how others are being redeemed by Jesus in this crisis time. So I think retreats is one answer. And if it's not retreats, just silent time with the Lord, somehow, in your home, in your garden, maybe outside the chapel, like meaning in your car, outside the chapel. Today, my family and I are going to just park our car outside the Blessed Sacrament and pray there. So how can we go out of our routine? And Jesus has already taken us out of our routine. I mean, this is not routine. and really listen to him. But I want Francisco, one of the reasons why I invited him is to share with us briefly. The young adults are doing Stations of the Cross every Friday.
Oh.
Share with us how they're doing this, because it's like a miracle happening.
Yeah, so at the beginning of this whole COVID-19 thing that happened in Houston, we basically started as a core team. We started the Stations of the Cross, and we basically just started. We started and we grabbed our phones and we started recording each other. So it was 14 of us that started. I did my video. The others did our video. So we just, let's say I got 14, so I was waiting for everybody, to submit their videos online. So when I got to 14, I was like, hey, time to submit my video. So a lot of young adults saw that, and there was a specific group out in Conroe that said, hey, we want to do it. So they started doing it, and then we had our meeting, our monthly meeting with the specific young adult leaders, and we basically just told them, hey, do y'all want to help out? So as a young adult group, we how to say this? Let's say one parish decided to do the first one, and then the second one, from a different parish. So we had all of them contribute to the Stations of the Cross. So I think that was pretty powerful, because it unites us in a different way. And we don't have to necessarily sit down and look at it live. We could be maybe, let's say, in our beds, we could be working and listening to the Stations of the Cross, because it's a different way to pray, especially because you're not looking at the screen constantly, or you have to be present in a live meeting, but you can set your phone aside and just listen and meditate the Stations of the Cross. A lot of them are doing rosaries, when they meet. At the beginning of all of this, I also created a video to motivate them and remind them as to the importance of meeting as a young adult group, and just kind of reminding them of why we do this, and kind of what Pope Francis is always reminding young adults is that we are the youth of the now, not of the tomorrow, not of the yesterday, not of the future, but we are the young adults of today, the now. So it's just, those words are very impactful, because a lot of times as a young adult, you think of the future, my future career, my future house, or my future vocation, but we don't focus a lot in the now. So it's tough, definitely, but I think it's a good time to kind of reflect what kind of going back to what Gabriela was saying. It's a time to silence our hearts, because we're so used to the daily routine. We're so used to thinking of what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that. But Jesus is giving us this time to really reflect on our lives and seeing if maybe that is the right vocation, or maybe that is the right career, or am I going in the right path? Am I falling too much? What's going on in my life? So it's just a time to really reflect and really see if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And not just one specific people, but the rest of the world. God has given us this time to reflect. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, but I think that one of the things that I wish or would want our office to do is maybe create podcasts, especially because you don't want to be sitting all the time. Maybe you're driving, or maybe you're, I don't know, doing something, but you can hear the podcast in the background. I think it's definitely a good way to just kind of evangelize a lot of other people. So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, how would, if someone wants to do the Stations of the Cross or attend the retreat, how do they get involved with that?
So they could just reach out to one of the core team. They could reach out to me, to Gabriela, to Mirna, to all the other young adults that are part of the core team, and be like, hey, we want to be part of this.
Okay, great.
So for the Stations of the Cross, they're being done in Spanish, but the retreat, they can go to our website with the retreat coming up on May 1st, is www.archgh.org, which is the Archdiocesan website, /YACM. Y for young, A for adult, C for campus, and for ministries, YACM. So we're putting there also the opportunity of formation. So we have the Care Resignation Spirituality Retreat. It's going to take 6 hours, one Saturday from 10 to 4. It's going to be beautiful because there will be testimonies, there'll be silent reflection, and there'll be small groups. So it's beautiful for young adults to get to know other young adults, even via internet. So it's going to be, and there's going to be prayers and music and games, just like a retreat, but through the computer. And then we have this class starting at the end of April, and that's going to be in Spanish. It's going to be 5 Mondays, 2 hours each night. That's not much of a silence, but that is a formation. That's also an opportunity for those who are at home. Let's get them out of their work, get them out of different things, and we're going to form them. There's going to be sacraments. There's going to be leadership skills, how to start a young adult group. So we're going to do those in 5 Mondays. But the Stations of the Cross, they will end probably this Friday with Holy Friday, with Good Friday. But yes, every night in the same website, you will find a link for the nightly prayers. And we're going to have a special prayers because of Holy Thursday and Good Friday and so on. They're going to be like an hour-long prayers. University of Houston will be singing a whole hour on Thursday. Tonight, the University of St. Thomas is leading us in prayer, the campus ministry. The Center for Faith and Culture will be leading us on reflection on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Father Bean will be with us. So there's been a lot of collaboration, and in the Spanish world, awesome young adults and awesome speakers have come and given us our 5-minute meditation. It's been beautiful. You know what it is? It's the body of Christ. And this could have not been done before because people had to drive, you need to make appointments. Now it's like, Father, just turn on your computer, you're there with us. Yeah. I mean, when do you have 15 minutes break, Father? Between your shower and the bathroom, and we'll take you right there. And so it's like, there is no way for people to say no to these invitations.
Right.
So it's been beautiful. I mean, every university, all of them, Rice, everyone, Pascon, the young adults from Café Católica, everyone's been contributing their little grain of salt for every night's prayer. Wow. And so hopefully this collaboration and this dialogue that we're starting during this crisis will not go away, and it'll be a lesson and stay with us forever.
Yeah. So. Yeah, well, I know you said there's a lot more work to be done, but both of your missionary discipleship is just so spirit-filled, and I'm so excited to see what you do in the future as well. So thank you so much for having this conversation this morning, and I hope that a lot of people attend your retreats and find that silence and time to just be in prayer. So thank you both, and have a great day.
Thank you, Bridget. God bless you.
Have a good one. Bye.